The world is in a state of flux. We are witnessing a profound shift away from globalization. Geopolitical risks are escalating. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is a stark reminder of this new reality. It has disrupted global supply chains and heightened tensions between major powers. The post-Cold War era of relative stability is over. We are entering a period of greater uncertainty and competition. This shift is driven by several factors. The rise of China as a global power is reshaping the geopolitical landscape. China's growing economic and military might is challenging the established order. The United States, under the Biden administration, is pursuing a policy of responsible competition with China. This competition is playing out across multiple domains from trade and technology to diplomacy and security. The COVID-19 pandemic also accelerated this trend. It exposed the vulnerabilities of interconnected global systems. It also fueled nationalism and protectionism. Governments around the world are increasingly prioritizing domestic interests over international cooperation. This is leading to a fragmentation of the global economy and a weakening of multilateral institutions. The war in Ukraine has further exacerbated these trends. It has shattered the illusion of a Europe whole, free, and at peace. It has also highlighted the dangers of relying on authoritarian regimes for critical resources such as energy. The conflict has had a profound impact on global energy markets, leading to price spikes and supply disruptions. The outcome of the 2024 U.S. presidential election will have profound implications for the global geopolitical landscape. The United States remains the world's most powerful country. Its foreign policy decisions have far-reaching consequences. A second Trump presidency could significantly alter U.S. foreign policy. Trump has expressed admiration for authoritarian leaders. He has also shown a willingness to withdraw from international agreements and institutions. A Trump victory could lead to a more isolationist and unpredictable U.S. foreign policy. A Democratic victory, on the other hand, would likely result in a continuation of the Biden administration's policies. This would mean a focus on strengthening alliances, promoting democracy and human rights, and engaging in responsible competition with China. The 2024 election will be closely watched by allies and adversaries alike. The stakes are high. The outcome will shape the future of the international order. The war in Ukraine is the most serious military conflict in Europe since World War II. It has already claimed hundreds of thousands of lives and displaced millions more. The conflict has also had a devastating impact on the Ukrainian economy and infrastructure. The war has reached a precarious stalemate. Russia has made significant territorial gains in eastern and southern Ukraine. However, it has failed to achieve its initial objectives of capturing Kyiv and overthrowing the Ukrainian government. Ukrainian forces, bolstered by Western military aid, have put up a fierce resistance. The conflict has also spilled over into the cyber domain. Russia has launched a series of cyber attacks against Ukrainian critical infrastructure. These attacks have disrupted essential services, such as electricity and communications. The outcome of the conflict remains uncertain. However, it is clear that the war will have lasting consequences for Russia, Ukraine, and the broader international order. The relationship between the United States and China is the most important bilateral relationship in the world. The two countries are the world's largest economies and possess the most powerful militaries. Their rivalry will shape the 21st century. The U.S.-China relationship is characterized by both cooperation and competition. The two countries work together on issues such as climate change and nuclear non-proliferation. However, they are increasingly at odds over trade, technology, and security. The Biden administration has identified China as its most serious competitor. The U.S. is taking steps to counter China's growing influence, including strengthening alliances in the Indo-Pacific region and investing in its own military capabilities. The U.S. and China are engaged in a technological arms race. Both countries are investing heavily in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and other cutting-edge technologies. These technologies have the potential to revolutionize warfare and shift the balance of power. Managing the U.S.-China relationship is one of the most significant challenges facing policymakers today. The stakes are high. A miscalculation could lead to conflict. Section 5. The Middle East, a cauldron of unresolved conflicts. The Middle East remains a region of instability and conflict. Long-standing conflicts, such as the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the Syrian civil war, show no signs of abating. New challenges, such as the rise of Iran and the rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran, are adding to the volatility. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a major obstacle to peace in the region. The two-state solution, long seen as the most viable path to peace, appears increasingly elusive. The recent escalation of violence in Gaza is a reminder of the fragility of the situation. The Syrian civil war has entered its second decade. The conflict has created a humanitarian catastrophe, displacing millions of people and claiming hundreds of thousands of lives. The involvement of external actors such as Russia, Iran, and Turkey has further complicated the situation. The rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran is playing out across the region. The two countries are vying for influence in Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon. This rivalry is fueling sectarian tensions and contributing to instability. The Middle East is facing a multitude of challenges. Resolving these conflicts will require sustained diplomatic efforts and a commitment from all parties to find a peaceful solution. Section 6. The rise of middle powers, shaping a multipolar world. The global balance of power is shifting. The rise of middle powers, such as India, Brazil, and South Africa, is reshaping the international order. These countries are playing an increasingly important role in global governance and diplomacy. India, with its large population and growing economy, is emerging as a major global player. India is a member of the G20 and is seeking a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. It is also strengthening its ties with other countries in the Indo-Pacific region. Brazil is another rising power with global ambitions. Brazil is a member of the BRICS group of emerging economies. It is also a major agricultural producer and exporter. Brazil is playing an increasingly active role in international forums, such as the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. South Africa is a leading voice in Africa and the developing world. It is a member of the G20 and the BRICS group. South Africa is also a key player in efforts to promote peace and security in Africa. The rise of middle powers is leading to a more multipolar world. This presents both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, it creates new avenues for cooperation and dialogue. On the other hand, it also increases the complexity of global governance. Section 7. Global challenges in a turbulent world. The world is facing a multitude of interconnected challenges. Climate change, pandemics, cyber threats, and economic inequality are just a few of the pressing issues confronting humanity. Climate change is the defining challenge of our time. The effects of climate change are already being felt around the world, from more extreme weather events to rising sea levels. Addressing climate change will require a global effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and transition to a more sustainable future. The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated the interconnectedness of the world and the devastating impact of infectious diseases. It also highlighted the importance of global cooperation and the need for robust public health systems. Cyber threats are increasing in frequency and sophistication. Cyber attacks can disrupt critical infrastructure, steal sensitive data, and undermine trust in institutions. Addressing cyber threats requires international cooperation and the development of norms and rules of behavior in cyberspace. Economic inequality is a major challenge within and between countries. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening in many parts of the world. This inequality can lead to social unrest, political instability, and conflict. Addressing economic inequality will require policies that promote inclusive economic growth and provide opportunities for all. Section 8. The geopolitical recession, a reshuffling of the global order. The world is experiencing a geopolitical recession. This recession is characterized by a decline in global cooperation, a rise in nationalism and populism, and an erosion of trust in institutions. The geopolitical recession is being driven by a confluence of factors. The 2008 financial crisis and the subsequent economic downturn led to a loss of faith in globalization and a backlash against free trade. The rise of social media has contributed to the spread of misinformation and disinformation, further polarizing societies. The geopolitical recession has profound implications for the global order. It has led to a weakening of multilateral institutions such as the United Nations and the World Trade Organization. It has also made it more difficult to address global challenges, such as climate change and pandemics. The geopolitical recession is likely to continue in the coming years. The COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine have exacerbated existing tensions and divisions. The world is entering a period of greater uncertainty and instability. Section 9. Conclusion. Navigating an uncertain future. The world is at a crossroads. We are facing a confluence of challenges that threaten our collective security and prosperity. The choices we make today will shape the future for generations to come. To navigate this uncertain future, we need to embrace cooperation, dialogue, and diplomacy. We need to strengthen multilateral institutions and work together to address global challenges. We also need to counter the forces of division and polarization that threaten to tear us apart. The challenges we face are daunting, but they are not insurmountable. By working together, we can build a more peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable future for all.